Assalamu alaikum. We are discussing about the force. In the last class, we already discussed about the contact force, non-contact force. Before starting the today's lecture, let's revise what we already discussed in the last class. In the last class, we started from the force. What is force? A pull or push acting on an object is called force. And in general, there are two types of force: contact force and non-contact force. Contact force means when both two objects are in contact with each other, then that force is called contact force. Suppose two objects are in not contact with each other. Suppose this is box. When I am dropping it, it fell down. Why? It is due to the gravitational force. And there is no contact between this object and the gravity. This is called a non-contact force. There are generally four types of contact force: tension force, spring force, force of friction, and normal force. Tension force, suppose any object is there, suppose this is an object and you hold it, then there is a tension in the ribbon, and this is the tension force. This force is of pulling in nature. The second is spring force. It is of pulling nature as well as pushing nature. After that, force of friction. It acts in the direction of opposite of the motion. And the last one is the normal force. Suppose you kept any object on a surface and there is a downward force on it due to the weight of this object, and in the opposite direction there is a normal force. Normal force will act in the opposite direction of it. It will be in the upward direction. After that, non-contact force. First is gravitational force, electrical force, and magnetic force. After that, we are discuss about the effect of force. Force can change the state of an object. Suppose any object is at rest, then due to the application of force, it may come in motion. Suppose any object is in motion, when you applied brake, brake is a type of force, then it will stop. It means that we can change the state of an object by applying the force on it. We can also change the direction of object. We can also change the speed. We can increase or decrease the speed of any object by applying the force on it. We can also change the shape of an object by applying force on it. But one thing which we cannot change of an object is the mass of an object. Mass is constant throughout and we cannot change the mass. Remember it, mass is another thing. Mass will not change and it will never change of an object. And the SI unit of force is Newton, and we have to symbolize as capital N. There are so many cases in which more than two force or more than one force act on an object. In that case, we have to find the resultant force or net force. How we can find the resultant force, we have to discuss that as well. Suppose any object is there and we applied a 5 Newton force from this side, that is pushing force, and 5 in the pulling force from this side. In this way, both the force are in the same direction. When the force acting on the same direction, then we have to add it. Suppose 5 Newton from this side and 4 Newton from this side, then we get 9 Newton force on the object. Suppose force are in opposite direction. Suppose I applied 5 Newton force from this side and 5 Newton from this side. In that case, we have to subtract it. When we applied equal and opposite force on an object, in that case, the resultant force will be 0 and object will not move. To move an object, we must have to apply the unbalanced force on it. In the next video, we will discuss about the force of friction. One thing more you have to remember is the magnitude. What is magnitude? Magnitude is, suppose a force of 5 Newton. Here 5 is the magnitude and Newton is the unit. You have to focus on it. In the next video, we will go through with the friction of force and what are the different ways on what are different types of frictions. Thank you.